Impact of coronavirus on your immigration status in the UK. Hello, my dearest friends. Svetlana Shlapak, the founder of ukvisasuccess.com, is here. In today's video, I'm going to explain various measures and changes made to the UK immigration law to adapt to the very unusual situation caused by coronavirus. Today we are going to cover a number of issues. We are going to discuss what happens to those where their visa expires or already expired between 24th of January 2020 and 31st of May 2020. We are going to discuss what happened to the application and service centers in the UK and outside. We are going to talk about Tier 1 entrepreneur visas, workers in the UK are predominantly under Tier 2, students Tier 4 and their Tier 4 sponsors, a possibility of switching to UK visa in the UK, what happens to the applicants under the EU settlement scheme, and the very unusual steps taken by the Home Office with regards to the medical workers and what is happening to the immigration tribunals. And if when watching this video you decide to dig deeper and get more information on the subject, please feel free to go to ukvisasuccess.com. It gets better, and ask for this information, and I'll send it to you by email within the next 60 seconds. So let us begin. If your UK visa expires between 24th of January 2020 and 31st of May 2020, and you cannot leave the UK because of travel restrictions or self-isolation related to coronavirus, you need to get in touch with the coronavirus immigration team and ask them to update your records. And when you do this, your visa will be automatically extended to at least 31st of May 2020. And I've drafted a template letter which you may find helpful when writing to the Home Office, because your email will need to be in English and it has to be in a certain form to be accepted by the Home Office. And as I said before, you can get a copy of this template letter if you request it by going to ukvisasuccess.com/it gets better. But what if you decide not to contact the Home Office and your visa expires? Well, in this case, you may become an overstayer, which is a legal term for someone who needs a visa to stay in the UK, but they do not have one. It is a criminal offense and most likely to affect the outcome of all future UK visa applications. A lack of immigration status has far-reaching consequences. For example, working without lawful status is a strict liability offense, and also landlords are under the obligation to evict overstayers, because by allowing overstayers to live in their properties, they are likely to face a fine and their actions may be classified as a criminal offense. Switching your visa in the UK. Well, you can do so by applying from the UK to switch to a long-term UK visa until 31st of May 2020. And this includes applications where you would usually need to apply for a visa from your home country, where you're normally expected to leave the country and make your application from outside the UK. And of course, you'll need to meet the requirements of that particular route if you're applying in the UK, and also you'll be expected to pay the fee for making such an application. In other words, all other rules apply apart from the rule of you needing to make an application from outside the UK. And by the way, this includes those whose visas have already been automatically extended to 31st of March 2020. You can apply online, and the terms and conditions of your visa will remain exactly the same until the Home Office decides your application. Guys, with regards to application and service centers in the UK, all UK visa and citizenship application centres and service and support centres have been closed because of coronavirus. You cannot book an appointment at this stage, and if you already made an appointment to attend one of these centres, they are most likely to get in touch with you and inform you that your appointment is now cancelled, and they will also tell you when you can book a new one. And of course, at this stage they don't know. It's most likely to happen after 31st of May 2020. The only reassurance we were given by the Home Office that your immigration status in the UK will not change as a result of you not being able to attend the appointment. The Home Office also suspended priority and super priority services for UK customers. However, they did say that they will meet the priority and super priority service standards if a person has already enrolled their biometrics. The applicants will get an email when a decision has been made, followed by a decision letter by post. However, if they are unable to make a fast decision on the application due to the impact of coronavirus, they will contact the applicant immediately and they will refund the priority service fee they've paid. Guys, a number of changes have been made in relation to the immigration rules concerning medical workers in the UK. So that we are clear, the rules affect medical workers who are not British or EU citizens or who are not settled in the UK. Their visas will be automatically extended by 1 year if their visas were due to expire before 1st of October 2020. And family members with a visa due to expire before 1st of October 2020 will also have their visa extended. The extension is free and the medical workers will not be expected to pay the immigration health surcharge, and this applies to their family members as well. And the beautiful part of this concession is in the fact that they do not need to apply. They do not need to make any applications. The Home Office will contact NHS employer to identify staff eligible for this extension, and they will contact you directly and your employer if you have received an automatic extension. Please make sure that your employer has got your up-to-date home address. And there will also be changes to the current restrictions on the number of hours medical workers can work or volunteer if they work for the NHS as a doctor, nurse, or a paramedic. And this applies to Tier 4 students, Tier 2 workers, if, for example, their NHS job is a second job, and also to visiting academic researchers and holders of a short-term visa and those who are permitted to volunteer in the UK. And if you are a pre-registration nurse in the UK, the deadline for you to sit the occupational structured clinic examination has been extended to 31st of December 2020. With regards to Tier 1 entrepreneur visas, if you are a Tier 1 entrepreneur and your business has been disrupted, you are no longer in need to employ at least 2 people for 12 consecutive months in order to continue meeting the requirements. The 12-month period you are required to employ someone can now be made up of multiple employees across different months. A time when your workers could not work will not count towards the 12 months period of time. Students in the UK, Tier 4 students are not normally permitted to undertake distance learning courses. However, due to the current exceptional circumstances, the Home Office will not consider it a breach of the sponsor duties to offer distance learning to existing Tier 4 students in the UK or who have chosen to return overseas but wish to continue their current studies. Tier 4 sponsors do not need to withdraw sponsorship in these circumstances. However, if a student has permanently withdrawn from or formally deferred their studies, the usual reporting requirements will apply. Tier 2 and Tier 4 sponsors do not need to report students or employees' absences related to coronavirus. These can include absences due to illness, their need to isolate, or inability to travel due to travel restrictions. This includes foreign students who are unable to attend for more than 60 days, or Tier 2 employees who are absent from work without pay for more than 4 weeks. New international students who have been issued a Tier 4 visa but have been unable to travel to the UK are permitted to undertake distance learning, and sponsorship does not need to be withdrawn. New international students who have not yet applied for a visa but wish to commence a course by distance learning do not need to travel to the UK to do so, and therefore do not need to require sponsorship under Tier 4. These arrangements apply initially until 31st of May 2020, but will be reviewed on a very regular basis. Workers in the UK. The Home Office also reassured all Tier 2 and Tier 5 workers that they are aware that many of them are now working from home. In normal circumstances, Tier 2 and Tier 5 sponsors are required to notify the Home Office of such changes of circumstances. However, due to the current exceptional situation, the Home Office will not require sponsors to do so if working from home is directly related to the coronavirus. However, other not coronavirus related changes of circumstances must still be reported to the Home Office as usual. What if Tier 2 sponsors cannot pay the salaries of Tier 2 employees because they have temporarily reduced or ceased trading? The Home Office allowed the Tier 2 sponsors to reduce the pay of their sponsored employees to 80% of their salary, or $2,500 per month, whichever is the lowest. However, any reductions must be part of a company-wide policy to avoid redundancies and in which all workers are treated the same way. And also these restrictions must be temporary, and the employees' pay must return to at least a previous level once these arrangements have ended. Immigration Tribunal hearings, first tier and upper tribunals, immigration and asylum chambers. The first tier tribunal has suspended face-to-face hearings other than in exceptional circumstances, and that is until further notice. They are dealing with listed cases in a priority and date order, and all appellants are advised to wait until they are actually contacted by the tribunal representatives themselves. People are actually asked not to call the tribunals unless their inquiry is urgent. All bail applications are prioritized now, and where a hearing is required, this will be listed to take place by the telephone or video, and this arrangement is in place from 21st of March 2020. EU settlement scheme. The settlement resolution centers will continue to respond to email inquiries and provide a callback function when required. However, it is following, as everyone else, all the latest Public Health England's advice to work from home where possible, and will no longer be answering inbound telephone calls. The postal route for submitting identity evidence is currently suspended, and all documents already posted will be processed and returned as soon as possible. However, EU nationals and their family members can still use the EU Exit ID document check app to complete the identity stage of their application. And just to remind you that the deadline for applications under the EU settlement scheme is 30th of June 2020. And this is it. This is all we wanted to discuss in today's video, guys. Just once again to remind you, if you want to have more information on recent changes and to be up to date with the current developments, feel free to subscribe to ukvisasuccess.com and Gets Better list, and I will keep you updated. I will provide you with further information, and also I will be posting further videos as soon as I make them. And also just to remind you that if you would like to receive regular updates on the developments in the world of UK immigration law, please feel free to subscribe at ukvisasuccess.com/newsletter. I wish you all the best and have a nice week.